Mm.
Um, if there was a true leader for justice
Mm.
there that
Mm.
stood up and said, "Yes, thank you, we've been needing help, come and help us." I don't speak for Trump. I've never spoken to Trump. I don't speak for the government. I
Yeah.
have few contacts in the government, and it's always been one way. Hey guys, you need to do
Mhm.
this. I don't collaborate with the U.S. government.
All right, great.
But if I were, I mean, I can tell you that if Tinubu were a didn't have his track record that proves where he stands,
Hmm.
but B, if he stood up and said, "Oh God, thank you, international attention, finally, we've
Mm.
been trying to fight this scourge. Thank you for your help," it would take the form of help. It would not take the form of direct action.
Mm.
That's my belief.
Hmm. So you think?
But
Mm.
Trump is first and foremost. Look, first of all, he's the only elected official.
Yes, it's another Friday. It's State of the Nation on the Atlanta Discourse channel. That's what we do every Friday. 7 continents, over 7 billion people. But you know what? There's a country that has the largest population of Black people on the planet. That is Nigeria. 1 out of every 4 sub-Saharan African is a Nigerian. 1 out of every 6 Black person in the entire planet is a Nigerian. As a matter of fact, in North America, United States to be specific, 7 out of 10 Black doctors are of Nigerian origin. So why is it that for the past 60 years plus, Nigeria has been independent, is still crawling? Is a question we have to ask. In the past, we say our elections were free but not fair. Today, they are not free, they're not fair. But recently, a lot has happened. We do know for a fact that this year alone, at least 7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria. At least 7,000 is a lot. 5 people is a lot. One is a lot. But there's a gentleman, he went to Nigeria, checked it out, fact-finding mission. He was not told, this was not third party. So he saw it all. So today is going to be my guest, a very fantastic guest. And guess what? Lo and behold, we have him here, Mike Arnold. Mike, welcome to Atlanta Discuss State of the Nation.
Thank you. It's an honor to be with you.
Fantastic. I'm excited too. Mike, why did you go to Nigeria? What did you go and do in Nigeria? We invited you.
Well, I started in 2010,
Okay.
and I was sort of tricked. I
I
never
like
had
that.
ambition. I like staying home. No place like home. And I've been to Nigeria now 16 times.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
a dear friend of mine, a very renowned evangelist, was invited to be the keynote speaker for the
Mm,
20th annual
mm.
International Leadership Conference for a group called Unity for Africa.
Okay.
And this was in Owerri,
Mm,
2010, for 1 week in Owerri, 1 week in Abuja. He invited me. I was on his board of directors of his ministry, and he was on the board of directors of mine. We were
oh,
friends.
wow. Mm-hmm,
He invited me to come along with them just as a traveling companion, just for the
mm-hmm,
experience. I met the founder of the organization, organizer, a gentleman named Professor John Oflebu. He lived here in the United States.
mm.
Uh, Nigerian man. He was offered U.S. citizenship many times, and he always turned it down. He was a
Oh,
proud
wow.
Nigerian.
Mm,
Amazing man, earth changer, really the real earth shaker.
mm.
And so I met them at the very last minute. My friend had to cancel. He had to back out. He had a big project, long story, but he got fully funded, and it was his life's calling, and he had to
Mm-hmm.
cancel. And I thought the trip was canceled. And he
Oh,
said, "No,
wow.
no, I told them you could take my place."
Mm,
Now, I've never, at that time, was never an orator. I was never a
mhm.
pulpit minister. But I went and ended up being the keynote speaker at this conference. And I was the first person they invited back in 20 years to do it the next year.
Oh, wow.
Uh, and it started a love affair with Nigeria. God has revealed things to me about the future of the nation and its purpose in the kingdom, and it's a vital purpose. In 2019, on a mission trip, we were speaking in churches and such. Literally, miraculously, stumbled into a IDP camp in the middle of Abuja.
Oh, wow.
And that was when the fact-finding mission started. I heard these people's stories, saw the conditions they lived in, saw the hope and the faith that was still in their hearts despite all that they had been through. Amazing. And I promised to tell their story. And my journey since then has been to fulfill that promise. But I've had to understand it, and it's taken me a very long time to really get to the bottom of it. Since then, I've been to Nigeria, starting in 2019, 7 times, and I have been to Bokos after the Christmas massacre. I've been to orphanage in Jos that all the kids saw their parents hacked to death. I've been all through the camps. I've been the highest halls of power. I've sat in Good Luck Jonathan's personal living room when he leaned in and he said, look at the blood minerals, look at the illegal mineral extraction. That's what's funding this. So, I mean, I've been on a fact-finding mission for 6 years. Redo Mokri had nothing to do with any of that. But he took credit for it. But it's been a long time fact-finding mission, and it's been driven by God and my promise to tell these people's story.
Wow. I see your profile, servant of the living God through Jesus Christ. Yeah. Breaker of false narrative, champion of truth, slayer of giants, destroyer of principalities. So I ask you again. So based on all your findings now, right? I mean, I've read almost everything I could lay my hands on that you've said or written, you know. So I'll be very direct with you. Now, the government has said, and most people in Nigeria have said yes, because I know they're talking about Christian killing and all that, but they have said that Muslims are dying, Christians are dying. You understand? Yeah. Maybe not in equal proportions. You understand?
That's right.
So why is there so much emphasis on the Christians that are dying?
Well, my emphasis has always been innocent people are dying.
Yeah.
The fact is, so I have 2 schools with the 3rd under construction.
Okay.
That we've started in displaced persons camps in the FCT.
Okay.
One of them, the camp is almost entirely Christian, and the other one, the camp is largely Muslim. And we serve one of our schools is almost entirely Muslim children. I've never made it a religious thing, but it is a religious thing. You have to admit, the people doing the killing, there's no Christians out there wiping out villages of Muslims. It is radical Muslims wiping out villages of Christians and anybody else who gets in their way. And by what my report actually said, and it is a genocide. It is a Christian genocide plus anybody who gets in their way, anybody who doesn't go along with them. What I've seen and what I've heard reported that rings credible to me is it's about 80% Christian, 20% Muslim on the victims. And if you look at their methodology, when they take over and pull over a bus full of people or go into a village, they will. This is pretty consistent in reports. They'll pull everybody out. They'll separate men from women, Christians from Muslims. They kill the Christians first, no questions asked. That's a Christian genocide. Okay. Then they go to the Muslims and say, hey, "Are you going to join us or die?" And the ones that don't join them get killed. The ones that say we'll join you, they test them on their Quran knowledge, and I've heard some of the cases they haven't pulled down their pants. If they're circumcised, they kill them.
Oh wow!
And then they sell the women into sex slavery. So it is Christians are being targeted explicitly and specifically, and other Muslims that don't join their cause also. So yes, my report says it's a genocide of Christians and other religious groups. So yeah, but look. Even at that press conference that's now famous, one of these northern imams stood up and said, yes, but Muslims are being killed too. And I said, absolutely. So why don't we stand together against the ones doing the killing? And he sat down. They only throw that out to muddy the water. Like it's okay. It's okay that we're killing all these people so long as we kill Muslims too. So shut up about it. That's generally the position of people that criticize that line of thinking.
So why do you think it's so hard for the Nigerian government in the last God knows how many years? Why is it so hard for them to have the political will to fight those doing this?
Because it's the fabric of the government there. At the heart of all of it
Okay.
is this: the belief
Mhm.
that it's acceptable to kill somebody that you disagree with.
Mm.
The belief that it's okay, or even that Allah rewards you, that it's glorious to kill somebody that doesn't believe like you do.
Mm.
That's the fundamental belief that's driving all of it.
Mhm.
And I contend anybody that holds that belief or espouses that belief should be shut down, should be shunned, should be, the more they promote it, the more they should be restricted, if not imprisoned. Because that is poison. That thought, that ideology is poison, whether it's radical Democrats in the United States or radical Muslims in Nigeria. That way of thinking is what is the root and the cause of genocide.
Mm.
It's okay to kill somebody you disagree with. The government is fully tolerant of people that believe that way. There's people that believe that way in the government, and certainly they do dealings with organizations and people and stuff that hold on to that belief. So that's full complicity. Now, also, the government of Nigeria today, regardless of how the mass graves are exhumed and untangled in the north, it's going to be a long time to get to the bottom of it. As far as criminal charges, international court for the northern genocide. There are between 4 and 10 million Nigerians, the displaced generation, that are presently being denied, deprived, lied about, hidden, ground down by this government. And legally, you can look it up, international law with much precedent, that is genocide. The Nigerian government today is complicit and guilty of genocide against the displaced people of Nigeria, the displaced generation. And so, yeah, why would they want to call international attention on it? They're either cowardly, compliant, or complicit. There's no anybody that's not standing up and has not been doing everything they can to stop it. All of those people should be charged with genocide, in my opinion. And so, yeah, it strikes to the very root of the Nigerian federal structure.
No.
And it's woven throughout it all. The cancer has metastasized throughout the Nigerian government. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Now, so in 2011,
you're not correcting me.
Yeah, no, I'm not correcting you. I'm asking questions. Yeah, it's a discussion. I'm still going to have some contribution along the line.
Yeah, push back on me if you don't.
Yeah, the facts are in public. Yeah, I know that they've killed more Christians in Nigeria in the last 10 years than anywhere else in the world. So that's not in dispute.
By a factor of 10. Yes.
Yeah, something like that. So, and I know they've killed a lot of Christians in Syria, Egypt, Turkey, and what have you. But Nigeria is very high. So that's not in doubt. There are international statistics to back this up. However, in 2011, right, there was an election, Buhari versus Jonathan, and for some reason, I think the former president then there was issued a lot of people were killed in the north as a result of maybe the loser wasn't happy at that time. It's late now, may so rest in peace. Then subsequently into 2015, the major candidate was also Buhari, Jonathan, right? Jonathan, you told me some minutes ago you met him personally. Now, at that time, there were signs that the government of the day in the United States then were pro the Buhari, that's the APC that is in power today.
But they were more than pro. They engineered that whole thing.
Fantastic.
Look, first of all, you know this.
Okay.
The United States is an unruly and very energetic, very divided democracy. That's what democracy is, right? And it swings back and forth pretty wildly at the administration level. The difference between Obama and Biden on one side and Trump on the other side is bigger than the gulf between Jonathan and Buhari. So blaming those policies on the current U.S. administration is the same as blaming the genocide on Jonathan. It's that difference. Nigerians need to understand. Also, if the American population or even the media knew what Obama and Biden truly did there, they would be criminally charged, I do believe,
mm,
and thoroughly repudiated.
mm,
Um, it is this, that nobody here knows about it. If it was done, it was clearly done in secret with much cover up. It was a covert operation of evil actors within within our government, and not expressing the will or the values of the American people. If and when it's exposed, um, it will not go well for the people that did that. So no, I reject that it was American policy, but I do absolutely accept, and I've been talking about this for a very long time. The blood, lots of the blood is on Obama's hands.
mm.
Period. Please don't throw that in. America did this. No, Obama did that. So America would be against it if they knew about it.
Oh, fantastic. So now President Trump has spoken, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure that's due to efforts of people like you, Congressman, I think Kelly O'Neill, Senator Cruz, and what have you. It's everything is now in public now. President Trump has said Nigerian government either fix it or it comes in to deal with it. Now, from what we're saying, it doesn't look like the political will is particularly there from the government for very for very obvious reasons. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Because
saying
they're
this.
complicit.
Yeah, that's one reason. I mean, it could also be that maybe they don't have the manpower or the intelligence, or
Now,
So,
now they could ask for help.
mm,
Trump doesn't want to be the one doing this,
mm,
um, but he will.
mm,
Um, if there was a true leader for justice
mm,
there that
mm,
stood up and said, "Yes, thank you, we've been needing help. Come and help us." I don't speak for Trump. I've never spoken to Trump. I don't speak for the government. I
mm,
have few contacts in the government, and it's always been one way. Hey guys, you need to do
mm.
this. I don't collaborate with the U.S. government.
All right, great.
But if I were, I mean, I can tell you that if Tinubu were a didn't have his track record that proves where he stands,
Hmm.
but B, if he stood up and said, "Oh God, thank you, international attention. Finally, we've
Mm,
been trying to fight this scourge. Thank you for your help." It would take the form of help. It would not take the form of direct action.
mm,
That's my belief.
mm. So you think?
But
Mm,
Trump is first and foremost. Look, first of all, he's the only elected official that I know of in U.S. history whose net worth has gone down while he's been in office.
mm.
Think about that. Do you know any Nigerian politician or any U.S. politician whose net worth has gone down
Okay.
after holding the
Uh,
highest office in the
In
land?
Nigeria, I don't know any. I can speak
Yeah,
for
so
Nigeria.
by their fruits you shall know them. He has
Mm,
ended 8 wars, and presidents of so many countries
mm,
have nominated him for the Nobel Prize for ending a war with no strings attached. And he's brought peace to the Middle East.
mm,
I said before he jumped in, I said I believe that what he does next, if you look at his path as a man of peace, is he will end the genocide. I prophesied that,
mm,
and he will. Thank God he will, and he's not one to mess around. Look at the Iran and Israel.
mm,
It was bad. I
mhm,
mean, they were about on the edge of triggering World War III, and what was it about? It was about the nuclear capability of Iran.
mm,
So what did Trump do? He took it off the table. They didn't even know we were there until we were gone.
mm,
And it's surgical, bam, 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 but 12, 16 sophisticated bombs in the same hole. The most sophisticated single military operation in history. There were no strings attached. He was not nation building. He was not trying to topple the regime.
mm.
He just ended a war. And that's what all indications point to he will continue to do is surgically identify the cancer, take it out, and then go home. That's what his track record is, and I believe what he's going to do in Nigeria. It's not an invasion, it's not an occupation, it's not a play for the minerals. It's a play to end the largest Christian genocide on earth.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, from facts available, it's clear that most of the people perpetrating this are from the northern part of Nigeria. Do you understand? And
Yes.
Tinubu, as you know, is from the south. It's from the southwest. Yeah, but even though he's a Muslim, so what do you think is hampering a southern or a southwestern Christian from dealing with this problem heads on? Why, what makes him complicit?
Well, first of all, the silence
Mm,
forever.
Okay.
And if you get into a lot of the reports that are credible from frontline eyewitnesses,
Okay.
journalists,
Mhm.
the military is at best conflicted,
Okay.
where they will go and disarm the villagers, and then they're stuck with bows and arrows when the insurgents come in with AK-47s and RPGs.
Mm.
I know firsthand multiple eyewitnesses from Guoza.
Mm.
When the military first came in, they came in and started shooting the Christians because they were told that was the problem.
Mm. Wow.
So, A, what I say about the Sultan, and I'll say the same about the president, they're either fully complicit or they're the weakest leaders in world history.
Mm.
There would be an indication that the Sultan actually wanted this to stop if he actually wanted it to stop. Where are the fatwas?
Mm.
The blood minerals being looted from his ancestral lands, where has he spoken against that?
Mm.
What action has he taken as the Pope and King of 108 million Muslims, where 99.8% of all the jihad violence is taking place in the boundaries of his historic kingdom? This man who was an intel general in Pakistan and Afghanistan during the war, at the same time that Nigerian fighters were captured alongside Taliban fighters.
Mm.
That man, if he wanted it to stop, there would be a sign. There would be some indication.
Mm.
If he wanted it to stop and it hasn't stopped, then he's a fraud. He's not a leader. He's not powerful.
Mm.
Because if he wanted to stop, you would know it, right?
Yep.
What?
I
He's
mean,
either complicit or he's completely weak and a puppet. And the same goes for Tinubu. If he wanted to stop, there would be signs. There would be progress.
mm.
They profit from this politically and financially. And there's the whole foundation, the fabric of the Nigerian federal system is aligned with the North and the jihad.
Mm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Please push back on me. I don't want to say
Yeah, I
something
mean,
if you think there's a
we'll get to that.
okay.
My next question to you is this, right? Now, the President Trump has spoken clearly, very emphatically. What should we expect? What's coming?
I have heard chatter and it's
Mm.
unsubstantiated,
Okay.
but it is from good sources.
Hmm.
I'm not stating it as fact. I'm stating
Okay.
it as
As chatter.
rumor that the Air Force is already mobilizing, possibly the Marines. That surveillance satellites and such have been tracking the terrorists, and it's very possible we're going to see kinetic action soon.
Mm.
I have cautioned, and actually at the highest level, I actually have the WhatsApp numbers of some of the top leaders in Nigeria because I've met them.
Mm-hmm.
The NSA, the Senate President, the Minister of Information, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and I've said, look, it's coming very fast. You better get on the right side of this right now, or you're soon going to be irrelevant.
Mm.
If Tinubu were to come out today and say, "Help us," don't send the military yet, but we will work together to wipe this out as quick as possible and stop the killings. Uh, the kinetic action could be stopped. I believe. I believe. But what are they doing? They're running and hiding. They're denying. They're diffusing, and the killings are still going on. So no, Trump doesn't bluff.
Mm.
And in fact, if you look at what he did in Iran, he said, "Oh, I'll make a decision within 2 weeks."
Mm.
He attacked 2 days later. That is within 2 weeks. He's not going to tip his hand. He's not going to give indications. Trump's foreign policy can be summed up this way, and it's consistent. Hey, let's all be cool. Let's live and let live. Let's all have peace. Let's all prosper. Let's all get along. And if you violate that, there's nowhere you can hide, and you will never see it coming.
Mm.
There's nowhere these terrorists can hide, and they will never see it coming. They will just be meeting either their 72 virgins or Satan, which I believe that the latter is the case.
Mm.
And it'll be soon, and it'll be absolute, and it'll end it at least enough so that the Nigerian people can then rebuild the great nation. Trump's not in a nation building. He's
Mm.
not into regime change. He could have toppled the regime of Iran, and I guarantee you, in his heart, he would have wanted to,
Mm.
but he didn't because that's not what he's about. He's about, hey, let's all get along, let's all have peace, let's all prosper. You cross that, you're done.
So
That
if America comes in, kinetic wise, area battle, drones, and what have you, they're just going to target the genociders, the killers, whoever the terrorists. That's
There
all.
will not be carpet bombing. There
Mhm,
will not be a nuclear blast.
mhm,
It'll be instead of farmer herder conflicts, it's going to
mhm,
be herder reaper drone
mhm,
conflicts. I guarantee you, with the technology today, they are very precise. Again, the surgical removal of Iran's nuclear capability, if you study it, it is the most sophisticated military single action in world
mhm,
history by far. They were able to drop, I think it was 16 very specific, very powerful bunker busting bombs in the same hole, one
mhm,
after the other. No collateral damage.
mhm.
Okay, that was a nuclear facility barreled
Yeah,
under
pinpoint
300.
pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah,
Mm,
and yeah. So Trump is, again, if you look at what he's talked about for decades, even when he was a Democrat, uh, the killing is abhorrent to him. Unnecessary killing is abhorrent to him, and the fruits of his presidency show that that's still his philosophy. He will take out the evil ones. He will rescue those who are in danger, and I believe there will be as minimal, if any, collateral damage. It'll be surgical. It'll be quick. It'll be absolute, and it'll be done. That's what I'm praying for, and that's what I believe he's going to deliver.
All right. So, I mean, Nigeria has been designated country of particular concern now. You
Yeah.
understand? So, and I mean, it does look like something is going to happen from what you're saying and from what we see if the government of the day does not take action. Now,
And what are they doing? They're running to South Africa instead of to Washington. Not a good look.
mm,
All the
mm.
comments coming out of them and statements are, "Oh, gee, well, they're killing Muslims too, and we're trying." That's the
Yeah,
wrong
but
approach.
the sentiments, I'll tell you this, the sentiments with some people, maybe not all in Nigeria, oh, we're a sovereign country, you know. People I said, let's unite against America. They can't just come and bomb us this. They can't just come and there are other sentiments. I said, look, this thing has been happening for so long. Yeah, we didn't do anything about it. If Trump is going to solve it for us, so be it. But there are strong sentiment like, look, we're a sovereign country. They can't just come and do this and that for us. But my question with that is this. What's the end game for the government? If America comes in, do what it has to do, that actually reduces the legitimacy or the strength of the government of the day somehow. I mean, it violates them, it weakens them
The
because we have
Nigerian
elections
government,
coming. Yeah.
is that a bad thing?
Well, it depends on who you are asking. It
Well, if
depends
you
on.
ask them, it is, of course,
Yeah,
because they're the
yeah. To
ones
them,
getting
it is.
fat off
Mm,
off the Nigerian people,
mhm,
keeping the Nigerian people under their thumb,
yeah.
denying an entire generation of displaced people, Christians and Muslims,
Mhm,
between 4 and 10 million innocent,
mm,
peaceful, productive citizens who experienced unimaginable trauma,
mhm,
witnessed firsthand the most brutal
mhm,
genocide imaginable. Friends and loved ones being hacked together, homes,
mhm,
schools, and churches burned,
mhm,
driven out of town, bodies dumped in their wells so little children had to drink water with blood in it.
mhm,
And these people are now stuck in concentration camps denied by the government.
mhm,
There's international aid available that is being refused because the government won't recognize them. And there's millions of children that will be, that by statistics show at least 60% will be radicalized,
mhm,
millions, without intervention now. And this government is intentionally, specifically, systematically suppressing, denying, and slowly killing this whole generation, the displaced generation. And that government that is today, I accuse, stands guilty of genocide, not for the killings in the North,
mhm,
but for the slow killing of these internally displaced. And that's based on international law and precedent.
mhm.
This government is guilty in genocide today. And that one is going to be weakened. Bring it on. Nigeria, there needs to be a new Nigeria that comes out
Mhm.
of this.
So
Whether
yeah,
it's like, whether it's a the electorate standing up and voting out
mhm.
all these complicit terrorists or whatever. The Nigerian government today does not. I believe a hungry crocodile cares more about the people of Nigeria than this government does.
Oh God. Let
Correct
me
me if
put
I'm wrong.
we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, I'm asking now. Don't worry. I'm going to say
Okay.
some things eventually. Now,
Okay.
is Bola Tinubu the president? Is he a target? You know, because
Of
I mean, of all this, you know, because some of these advisors have come out to say the opposition is the one whipping sentiments, they want to bring his government down
well,
because
to
some
be
have
honest,
said. Mm.
I don't wade into Nigerian politics.
Mhm.
I don't know who's in what party, and
Okay.
they all confuse me. I don't recognize generally.
Mhm.
I really am blind to tribe and to party. I just don't see
You
that.
should be.
Yeah, and I don't see that.
Mhm.
But and so I don't know. I mean, again, I don't have insight into the mind of
Mhm.
Trump. I know that he could have taken out the Iranian government, which is clearly a state sponsor of terror and wants to destroy the United States. He could have toppled that government with just one or two more bombs
Mhm.
if that was his goal. He believes take the evil out and let the good people take over. And that's what I believe he's going to do there. Again, I'm not speaking for him, but that's based
Mhm.
on watching the guy for a
Yeah,
long time.
because you know what I'm asking. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm asking. I mean, anybody that followed what happened in Iran knows that the Ayatollah was already weak. You know,
Hmm.
they've been decimated. If they wanted regime change, Israel and America, it was going to
That's
be
right.
it was a walk in the park. You
Yeah.
understand? A lot of the generals were dead their way. So now I'm saying, based on everything we have discussed and we have seen, partly maybe people in the military are complicit.
Yeah.
Maybe people in government are complicit. Now, if there's an area bombing, some attack somewhere, and all those guys, some of the military leaders that are complicit and all that, are part of those that are taken out. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And they are in government. That
Yeah.
weakens the government somehow. You
I don't
understand?
believe Trump would do that. I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if factions inside Nigeria did that and
Okay.
tried, took advantage of the opportunity. I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised.
All right.
What I advocate for is I don't like killing either. Actually, our battle's
Nobody
not even
does.
flesh and blood,
Mm.
but only when necessary. If someone were to break into my house and be threatening my family, I'd put a bullet in their brain and never think twice about it.
Mm.
Thank God that He gave me a gun to protect my family. But I don't go out and hunt people down for retribution. That's not
Mm.
right.
Mm.
But I believe in justice. I believe that when this is all said and done, this will be known to history on the level of the German Holocaust. I
Mm.
believe that the IDP camps are concentration camps by every definition of the word. And I believe that Nuremberg style trials must be on the horizon. And I believe Nigerians should take every screenshot, every note, every record, and get it ready as evidence when justice is pursued the right way.
Mm.
Justice is pursued by law. I'm call on every Nigerian who wants to see change to act as a representative of that change.
Mm.
Manifest today what you want the new Nigeria to be. And it is not one on retribution. It is not one on hate. It is not one on religious or party or political violence. It is one on the rule of law. It is one on protection and restoration, not on revenge. And I call on every Nigerian who wants to see change to be the change you want to see. Don't use the tactics of those that you're against, because then you're no better than them and nothing good will come of it. Rise above it, manifest what you want Nigeria to be, and it will become manifest.
Okay, I have 2 or 3 more questions for you. So the
Sure.
next one is this, right? Are you impressed with the response of Nigerians to your revelations?
Yeah, and I'm not surprised.
Mm.
Let me tell you
Let me
this.
let me rephrase. Are you encouraged? Yeah, let me use that term.
Absolutely,
Mm.
I've said from the beginning,
Mm.
all the way along. For 6 years, I've been waving my hands and trying to
Mm.
get people's attention to this.
Mm.
Okay, and all along I've said this: Nigerian people are good people.
Mm.
They don't even know what's going on. They have been gaslit for a decade. I have proof that the administration policy, past and current, is to purge the even knowledge and language of internally displaced. They call them criminals. They call them beggars. They call their camps homeless camps. They bulldoze them. There are people living next door to IDP camps, concentration camps, full of genocide survivors, and they don't even know who's in the camp. They think they're just vagrants because the Nigerian government has driven that line and gaslit the people for so long. When the truth starts to come out, the Nigerian people will know what to do. They will know what to do. And now the truth's starting to come out. I believe I grew up a liturgical, very stodgy Christian, raised by a scientist, so I don't use charismatic language very much. But the fact is, I believe that the Python spirit was evicted. And if you look at it spiritually in the Bible, that's the spirit that suppresses the truth. That's the spirit that suppresses the testimonies and praise of God people. And immediately after that spirit was cut down, now you're hearing people speak up.
Mm.
And it's God's will. I encourage all Nigerians, take your phone, find an IDP, find an IDP camp. They're all over. You won't have a problem finding one. Go in there and start recording testimonies and posting them online. The more the truth shines, there's no such thing as darkness. It's only the absence of light. And when the light shines and the brighter it shines, the darkness has no place to go and it will go away. There'll be a fight, but always be on the side of truth and be on the side of light. And I'm greatly encouraged that Nigerians are now standing up with courage to speak the truth. I'm shocked that now you're seeing northern Muslim leaders be more bold about it than the cowardly Christian wolves in shepherd's clothing that call themselves pastors, who are being timid in the face of this. Any pastor that's not out there right now speaking loudly about this is not a pastor. That person is a fraud.
Yeah, interesting. So, based on your investigation, right? I mean, you're an authority on this. You said earlier that there was a time you spoke to President Jonathan one on
Oh
one.
yeah.
Yeah. So, how far back has this been going on based on your investigation? I
As
mean,
far
I know it didn't
as
start with this government. So, how
okay,
far back?
there's always been. So when I first started
Mm,
coming to Nigeria in 2010, it was
mm,
known as the only nation on earth where radical Islam was being pushed back.
mm,
So there's always been the jihad element. Sultanate of Sokoto, that caliphate was built by jihad. It was built by
mm,
killing people and driving them out and forced conversions. That whole caliphate was built on that, and it's 19 generations of that now. But that's been going on, and it was always localized, and it was always contained. And if you remember back then, there wasn't. I happened to be in Abuja in 2011 when the UN headquarters was blown up in Abuja,
cool.
and those were outrage. I shopped. There's a Wuse 2. There's a shopping center that I
Yeah,
shopped in
yeah. In
not long after
Abuja,
it
yeah.
was blown up. I had been there. I have pictures from
Wow.
within that shopping center
Mm,
not long before it was blown up. But those were always outrages. Those were always met with horror across the board. But it was always there. What happened is, coincidentally, when the Sultan of Sokoto came back from Afghanistan and Pakistan, concurrent with that, all of a sudden the jihad took on global flavor, started adopting the international jihad tactics, suicide bombs, IEDs, all that stuff. And those groups started to relocate where they have safe haven in Nigeria now, in the north. And the jihad became more sophisticated with global intent. But if you look at Buhari before he was president, openly and passionately called for Sharia law across all of Nigeria at any cost. He
mm,
also called for global Sharia law. So there's an intelligent design behind what we're seeing now.
mm.
And it is sophisticated. It has a purpose to hijack the entire nation, use those resources to launch global jihad. That's why the U.S. General Michael Langley, in front of Congress just very recently, head of AFRICOM, said that northern Nigeria is now the epicenter of global terrorism. Trump's actions aren't just to save Christians. Trump's actions are to save the world. And it has direct impact on America's safety and security. What's happening there, the next 9/11 will come out of Nigeria if this isn't stopped.
Let me get this straight. So, based on what you've said, the Sultanate, as you said, or the jihadists, let's call it the jihadists, are on an expansionist program in Nigeria. They want to capture the
Absolutely.
entire country and
Yeah.
environment. And they want Nigeria to be a foothold, just like Afghanistan was in the past,
Yeah.
to launch future attacks against other countries in the world,
That's
including the
exactly
US.
that's exactly their stated
Mhm.
purpose. Watch
Wow.
their promotional videos where,
Mhm.
and it's a promotional video. We have a sister congregation in Ngoshe, in
Mm.
Gwoza, Borno State,
Mhm. Yeah, I know the goal.
and More Than Conquerors Church. Members of our team visited it last year. Amazing, heroic people. There's a military chaplain that built this little structure, and when they started singing, he didn't know if they were going to come kill him or what. And they started singing, and people started running in to worship. I have a video from not long after that of members of this same church who went to go get food, and were captured. The girls were sold into sex slavery, and the men had their heads cut off with dull axes. And why do I know they're dull? Because it took them 15 or 20 licks to take their heads off, and it's all on video.
Oh,
And they're
wow.
cheering.
Wow.
The video starts as a recruitment video for these satanic, bloodthirsty savages. People that actually are appealed by that and will travel there to join them. It's disgusting and it's sick and it's satanic. But their opening sequence is the American flag going down, the British flag going down, all the national flags going down, and the black flag of jihad going up. Buhari himself called for global Sharia law. The fact that they want to take over all of Nigeria is obvious. Hell, why do you think the villa was built with 2 mosques and no chapel? Give me a break. This
Mm,
has been it's self evident.
mm,
It's just that Nigerians have been beaten down and gaslighted for very long time. It's almost like a Stockholm syndrome,
mm,
where they think somebody coming to rescue them is actually coming to hurt them.
mm.
That's a battered wife syndrome,
Yeah.
and that's what Nigerian people are suffering from with this government.
You know that there are 36 states in Nigeria, right? So in the north, I think in the entire north there are 19. In the south there are 17 states. Now, let's remove the north central part, which is where a lot of the killings are going on, Benue, Plateau, and what have you. Now they're in Kwara. Now, if you look at the northeast and northwest, right? There are actually no states in those two that you don't have Christian. The percentage might not be as much as Muslims. Now, why I'm asking this is that, do you foresee? I don't have an answer to this, so that's why I asked you. And I'm sure even if you don't, you might have an idea. Do you foresee a scenario where the Western world or the powers that be might encourage ethnic groups in Nigeria to go their separate ways? Because there are agitations also, in the southwest, in
You're
the south
talking
south,
about
in the southeast, in the north central.
yeah,
Is it a possibility? I'm just
you
bouncing
know,
off it.
this case has been made to me many times,
Mm,
and I'll be completely. I've got nothing to hide.
mm,
My spiritual father,
mm,
my mentor, late mentor, Professor John Ofebu,
mhm,
um, the most Christ-like man I've ever met, and I mean that sincerely.
mm,
Amazing human being. I'm honored to call him my mentor. Um, he was from the South. He was from Imo State, Owerri, a little
mm,
village called Ngugu outside of Owerri.
mhm,
And I would consider that my hometown in Nigeria because that's where I spent most of my time, and that's where my papa was.
mm,
Um, uh, I If I had to pick, who is my family? Again, I'm tribe blind, but it's always been Igbo. That was my papa, and that's been where I started there. Um, that doesn't mean and that I consider that a good thing. But again, this is bigger than tribe. This is bigger than faith. This is evil people killing innocent people. And I've been asked about the separation. I know the history. I know that Nigeria was never a colony.
mm,
Nigeria was never even a nation. It was two extraction corporations that were merged together for administrative uh, simplicity, and also so that if you look at British patterns like the Yalta Conference after World War One,
mm,
where Lawrence of Arabia was screaming, "Don't do it! They're going to fight themselves forever. Why are you lumping countries together for division and for
mhm,
conflict?" They do it on purpose to keep the people down. So I know all the history. I know the history of the Biafran War. I know that the South was the fastest growing economic region on earth for 10
mm,
years running. But the British favored indirect rule, and they liked working with the caliphate because they could talk to one guy and control the whole population, where these Southerners were unruly entrepreneurial people. So the British locked that together for domination, not for liberation.
mm,
That said, am I in favor of it being separated? I don't take a position on that. I think any talk of that right now is foolish and it's premature
mm,
because there's a common enemy, there's a cancer, there's an evil in this nation of Nigeria. Let's stand together across tribe, across region, across faith, and get rid of that evil. Once that is done, then have a conversation about separation or not.
mm,
I'm not advocating for or against it.
mhm,
I'm advocating for everybody on the face of the earth to stand together and eradicate this evil. When there's a new day, take a deep breath and then decide your future. But the cancer must be eradicated first. Why pick a college degree plan and a career path if you have stage 4 cancer today?
mm.
That's foolish. Get rid of the cancer, get on your feet, and then then work together in peace to chart a course for the future that's fair and equitable for everybody.
You have a fantastic understanding of Nigeria. Most of my yeah, so a lot of my guests, Nigerian leaders and all that, have said Nigeria's problem has always been failure of leadership. Some
Mm,
have said that the problem is not failure of leadership, like what the story you just told us now, that we're not supposed to be together as a country, ab
mm,
initio, and some of them will give you examples that even though we're British colonized, that they go to India, they tell you India broke up into Pakistan, Bangladesh, then they go to Malay, Singapore, Malaysia, then in recent times, Sudan and all that. But of course, Sudan is not doing too well despite whatever is happening. So, but the question is, do you think it's failure of leadership or just that strange bedfellows were brought together? Yeah, the third angle is,
the
before
people
you
can
answer,
live
the
in
third angle, sorry to
well
interject,
look,
the third angle is that a lot of the problems are actually externally induced. I don't want to say Western, but they're
absolutely.
externally induced. Yeah.
I believe, first of all, if Africans were
Mm,
left to their own devices,
mm,
they would be a much more powerful and prosperous and peaceful
mm,
land. That there's no place on earth in the history of the world that has been more raped, looted, pillaged, extracted from, corrupted by outsiders
mm,
than Africa. It's always been the place to extract the riches and dump your filth,
mm,
and to pay off or kill anybody that doesn't go along with that. That is what the outside world has given to Africa. By and large, there's good things too,
mm,
no doubt about it. But that is the evil spirit stronghold of colonialism and neocolonialism that's still like Obama's involvement. And hey, guess who's buying the blood minerals from the north? All the signs and evidence indicated to the Chinese. They're the ones paying off these groups to
mm.
illegally extract these minerals. If they weren't doing that, if the world refused to buy the blood minerals, this thing would be shut down pretty quick. But hey, people can get along. I've sat down and reasoned with Isa al Buba,
Mm.
if you know who that is.
Yeah, I
He's a
do. I
former
do.
Muslim
It's a
scholar and cleric
pastor. Yeah.
who met Jesus,
Mm,
and he's a powerful evangelist. And I asked him point blank, because I don't know anybody else who could know better, can Muslims and Christians live together in peace? And he said, absolutely yes. He said it's bad teaching that it's. He said if they only focus on the Quran, they are peaceful and be along. It's these added on teachings
mm,
from some corrupt and evil people that steer that faith to violence. Muslims and Christians can live together in peace. Uh, Neighboring countries can live together in peace. Neighbors with different views can live together in peace.
mm,
The boundaries have no bearing. It is a failure of leadership,
mm,
100%, and complicity and corruption and foreign meddling. But
mm.
yeah, whether there's a boundary drawn there or not shouldn't. Oh, those people over there, it's okay for them to kill us. No, it's not. We're human beings. We're human beings made by God. Well, whether you call, I believe in the God of Jesus Christ, but even the Muslims believe they were made by God.
Mm.
Okay, a God. Um, let's unite as people that are seeking peace and prosperity and life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and let's establish a community of that where we can have diversity of thought without being killed for it. And that, yes, that's a function of leadership, 100%, not boundaries.
Interesting. The Chinese are in Nigeria buying the minerals, like you said. I mean, that's common knowledge. Not just Nigeria, a lot of
They
Africa.
are they are vampires sucking the minerals out.
Good.
That's what they are. They're not buying the minerals. They are raping it from the land and paying for it to the jihadis. I've been to Bocos after the Christmas massacre, and you
Mhm,
see mountains of earth where the strip
mhm,
mining took place after these people were driven off. It's all part of the same machine, and the Chinese are very complicit in it.
So where,
Absolutely.
where where does that leave Nigeria? America comes in now, takes out the jihadists that are working with the Chinese. That Nigeria becomes a playground for the ensuing new world order. What
Yeah.
happens
So
from
so I strongly advocate.
there?
Young people can be very smart, and the technology today is amazing. For one, blockchain, you
Mm,
know, where that's been implemented for transactions and such,
mhm,
it's purging corruption because it's transparent.
mhm. Yeah.
Um, Look, there's only a handful of nations in the world that are actually consumers of the kind of minerals that Nigeria has in the bulk that Nigeria sells them in. I think there's six. China's one, South Korea. Um, there's Germany. There's United States. There's just a few. Okay, I don't have them all off the top of my head, but there's just a handful of them. And that is the source today of Nigeria's wealth. I've long advocated for Nigeria to grow the industrial capacity to not sell minerals as raw materials, but sell finished products made from the minerals. Why, if Nigeria has lithium, why aren't they selling lithium ion batteries instead of selling lithium? Right? If
Mhm.
they have the lithium and ion batteries, why aren't they selling electric cars instead of selling lithium? So Nigeria needs to grow the industrial capacity. And Nigeria has the educated people, it has the entrepreneurs, it has the capital to be able to rise as a global economic superpower if you get the
Mhm.
blood sucking colonials and you get the corrupt politicians out of the way. But also, I have developed and advocate for what I call the ethical extraction framework, where the minerals under the soil should benefit the people above ground on the soil. That those minerals should not be looted for foreign profit or corrupt profit. They
Mhm.
should help the communities that are underneath them. That's how Nigeria can rebuild and restore and rise, is by um, ethically using those that wealth that God has put into your feet to benefit your nation, not as a bargaining chip that these foreign powers fight over, but that you protect and that you use to make products that benefit the world, and your country will elevate beyond anybody's imagination. You shouldn't have to sell them all to corrupt countries, including the United States. But if you have to sell them, you should choose wisely. Who's going to be a better customer?
Mhm.
Who's going to treat our people better? Who's currently, extracting them to our detriment? Let's not do business with them anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not doing this as a sales pitch for it being the United States. I'm not. I'm just saying you need to choose carefully who's going to be your best partner. As long as that's your source of wealth and you need to sell them to somebody, there's not many customers, choose wisely.
I need to ask you this. Yeah, I'm sure I know the answer already, but
Yes.
what's in it for you doing all this?
God called me to do it. This has
Okay.
actually cost me everything in my life.
Wow.
I actually thought before I left for that fact finding PR stooge tour,
Mhm.
um, many advisors, very high level, stressed to me the risk I was taking. And I know that and if I, especially if I had stuck around, there was a very, I don't know what percentage, but a not insignificant percentage chance I was going to be killed.
Mhm.
And before I left, I updated my will and I had a farewell dinner with my children. Hadn't had a family dinner since Christmas, but got together to say goodbye to me. And I told them that I might not be coming home. But I told them, I said, you can't choose how you go.
Mhm.
I've got close friends that I've lost recently, just my age, and they're gone. Why not me? I said, if this is what God has me to do, and if this is the end for me, I can not think of a more noble cause.
Mhm.
And I was prepared to die to speak that truth. And that made it actually sort of easy. What are they going to do to me? How can they threaten me? I was prepared, and it's because God called me to, and that's the only reason. And it wasn't me who did that. I laid on multiple points along the trip, but most ultimately face down in the hotel room right before walking into that press conference. And I said, God, I don't want to do this. I'm not doing this. But if you want to take this bag of bones in there and speak through it, go do it. That was not me. That was Christ in me. And that's what animates me and motivates me. If it's ever me doing it, I know that I won't last long. And so, yeah, God has called me to do this. And I don't know why he picked me, but he's picked me. And I will continue to walk on that path with everything I have until Nigeria is restored.
Interesting. Now, my last question to you is this, right? Uh, I've said it on this show so many times that Nigeria is battered almost beyond repairs. I mean, it's not too late to, I say it. So I owe no apology for saying that. I'm on record to have said it so many times.
Yeah.
Now, the issue of today, genocide, killing of Christians, is not the only problem Nigeria has. We have
Yeah.
infrastructural issues, there's corruption. The one that bothers me is that the elections, our votes don't count. I think that's terrible. It has to be vox populi, vox dei. It doesn't matter who wins. It just has to be the choice of the people. So my last question to you is this: Where do you see Nigeria in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time? Just in
That's up to the
5 years.
Nigerian people. That's
Mm,
up to the Nigerian people. I believe, and history shows. I'll put it in this example with Trump, because we were talking about that. Right before he said he was prepared to take military action. This
mm,
was after he had declared CPC.
mm,
I told him that next sentence after declaring CPC was, and this is just the beginning. I said, that's where the heart of it is. Trump can go straight to the root of a matter and he can cut it off,
mm,
period. Uh, I said, I don't see him doing sanctions and embargoes. And that is, okay, I know where the cancer is, but we're going to do chemotherapy. If
mm,
you can do surgery, you do surgery and it's done. And the same is true here. The problems with Nigeria really come down to just a few things. It's tolerance of the mindset that it's okay to kill people you disagree with. Period. That needs to be, as one man across faiths, Nigeria needs to rise up and say, no more. That is not tolerated. That thought, that word, that action is purged from our country. No, never again. Well, anybody that says anything like that again is canceled.
mm,
Period. That needs to be the standard. That can happen quickly.
mm,
Corruption is expected and acceptable. It really, the technology there is there to purge that.
mm,
Okay, the will of the people. If Nigerian people stopped accepting it like a perpetual victim and said, no more, we're standing up, no more corruption, it could be seriously hacked down to size.
mm,
And finally, the idea that you have to go somewhere else, you have to travel out of the country to find good things, to get good leadership, to get good ideas. The residue of colonialism is a stronghold that needs to be pulled down. And when Nigerians finally get that encouragement, like, hey, we can do good things, we can do it our way, and this is a good way, and it might be better than the British or the American way. We're a unique people that God has called a certain way. And finally, what needs to happen is, the Bible is very clear about this. If you bind a strong man and throw him out,
mm,
and you don't fill that with the Holy Spirit, that strong man will come back.
mm,
If America comes and binds a strong man and throws it out, and Nigeria doesn't fill the borders
mm,
with love and peace
mm.
and prosperity,
Nature abhors vacuum.
yeah,
Mm,
if Nigerians don't rise up, and today I'm here to say it, and you know it as well as I do, the Nigerian church today is not ready for that or equipped to that, because you have wolves in shepherd's clothing that are feeding on the sheep instead of feeding the sheep. They are fleecing the sheep. Did you know the hoarded wealth of the top 10 richest Nigerian pastors? Just that, the top 10. If they just took down to a reasonable salary,
mm,
their hoarded wealth would feed, clothe, shelter, educate, care for entirely 3.3 million displaced Nigerians for a full year. That's just 10 people that claim that they're pastors. They're
mm,
not pastors. They're satanic mammon worshipers that are fraudulently standing behind a pulpit, demanding tithes be paid to them while neglecting the widows and orphans just outside their door. When Nigerians realize that they've been swindled by the god of mammon and they sell the jets to feed the poor, you're going to see dramatic change. The good people of Nigeria, the true church of Nigeria, is the strongest and most faithful and most valiant that I've ever seen.
mm,
But this veneer of prosperity pimps that milk all the lifeblood out of the body of Christ
mm.
must be purged from church. Period. They must be taken down, taken out under any means, because my God, Nigeria, just the Christians alone, working with the peaceful Muslims, have all the resources, all the might, all the power to fix what needs to be fixed. If these satanic agents that are strangling the church were just to get out of the way, the church needs to clean house to be ready for the new Nigeria. Otherwise, it will only be worse. Because if you don't occupy that land once the evil is gone with righteousness, that evil will come back 7 times stronger, according to the
Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
Bible. How's that?
Yes, something came to my mind. I was reading Senator Cruz. He said that the next stage for him is to expose those behind it. Should we expect a list sometime in the future?
I have not been in communication with Cruz or
Mm,
anybody up there, But I know this:
Mm,
Ted Cruz he's an attorney.
mm,
He argued many cases very successfully before the Supreme Court of the United States.
mm,
Attorneys don't get out there. You never ask a question if you don't know what the answer is. You don't
mm,
make a statement if you can't validate it.
mhm,
Trump's the same way. He didn't just go on a limb and say, "We're going to do this." I
mm,
guarantee you they got it all mapped out. And I guarantee you, Cruz, if he went out there to make this case at this level, he has the case already prepared and he
mm.
already knows that it's a done deal.
It's a slam dunk, yeah.
So yeah, if he
Mm,
says he's got it, he's got it. And like I said, I call for, and I believe there will be Nuremberg style trials, um, top to bottom, and there will be justice. And does Ted Cruz have a list? Ted Cruz doesn't bluff. He's not making it up. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Bring it on.
Thank
Are
you, Mike.
you?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. It's an hour already, Our time goes very fast. Okay, you've heard him, Mike Arnold. He said it. He loves Nigeria. He's a man of God. For him, he just wants a good Nigeria. That's what most Nigerians want anyway. Now, for the government, it's not too late. You still have some time. I mean, if you think the patriotism is there, you go for it. I mean, it's clear that the people behind this, they are not hidden per se. They are, I've read in the past that the government of Dubai, Niger said they will expose these people and we covered it up somehow. So it's a good opportunity to prove that the government is not complicit. So that's where we end it. It's a wrap for today. Mike, thank you. I'm going to bring you back. I'm sure when events starts, going the way you predicted, we'll have to talk about it again. Thank you,
Looking forward
everybody.
to it.
Yeah. God bless you all. Bye.
Bye bye.